Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alright, so today I'm going to be smoking a cigarette while sitting on a stack of pallets. I was wandering through the park I'm in right now, and I saw these two pallets on the ground. And I was like, what are these doing here? And I sat down just for a second just to kind of look around where I wanted to go. And then I was like, you know what would be interesting if I smoked a cigarette here and made a video all about it? Because I was like, you know what? I've never actually smoked a cigarette while sitting on a stack of pallets before. And so as such, I don't know how good a stack of pallets is as a place to sit down and smoke a cigarette. Is a stack of pallets a good place to sit down, chill out, and have a smoke? Or is it not? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out for the first time today. I do suppose without further ado though, I should probably go ahead and get my pack of cigarettes out of my pocket to introduce them to y'all. I have a pack of Lambert & Butler Original Silver cigarettes from the UK with me today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and, well, get my phone in the tripod, sit down on the very small stack of pallets. There are only two of them, I will acknowledge. And, well, let's go ahead and get to smoking a cigarette while sitting on a stack of pallets in a public park at 5:57 p.m. in the afternoon. Without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and get to smoking. Once I go ahead and get my lighter out of my pocket as well, if I can find my lighter. Can I find my lighter? I have it in my hand. I'm just trying to get it out of my pocket without like ripping my headphones out of my pocket and whatnot as well. But now that I've got my lighter out, now that I've got my cigarette out, without further ado, let's get to smoking. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. And you know, overall, I gotta admit right off the bat, in my opinion at least, this is a more solid than not spot to have a cigarette. Just based off of this initial experience, I am getting the impression that, well, smoking a cigarette on a stack of pallets isn't a bad experience by any means. I'm getting the impression that a stack of pallets is a pretty good spot to use as a place to smoke a cigarette. Now, would I really want to like back up on the stack of pallets and like get my legs all over them and whatnot kind of thing? Not really. I'd be afraid if I was wearing shorts that I might get a splinter. And even though I'm wearing pants right now, I still don't really want splinters in my pants, even if the splinters aren't actually going in my skin. It's definitely something I just want to sit down on rather than kind of like get really comfortable on. It's just a spot that works, but it's a spot that works quite well in my personal opinion. I mean, like, for one, I'm lifted up off of the ground. I'm not sitting on the ground right now or anything like that. And since this is a stack of two pallets, I'm lifted off the ground enough where I'm not like uncomfortably like low to the ground. Like there's some like areas and stuff like that that have like benches that are like so low to like the ground where it's like almost uncomfortable to like sit on them and whatnot kind of thing. And stuff like that. But since this is a two stack, it's like just high up enough to be comfortable and whatnot. I can just kind of lean back just a little bit and everything like that. I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Genuinely, this is not a bad spot to smoke a cigarette. Now, if it had been raining earlier and the pallets were wet, I think it might be a different story, because this is wood that is not treated to sit outside and not like be wet kind of thing. Like park benches are generally painted for a reason, and that's to prevent the wood from getting wet and rotting and stuff like that kind of thing. Pallets, they might still be made with treated wood, but they're not treated for sitting on. They're not smoothed out. The splinters aren't gotten rid of. They're not water resistant kind of thing. There are definitely some issues with sitting on a pallet as a bench alternative to smoke on, I will acknowledge. However, there's still a spot to put down my pack of smokes. I've got my water bottle with me today, and I can put my water bottle on it, and even though these pallets are kind of sitting at a little bit of an angle, nothing's falling off because of the wood being not well treated like a park bench. Like park benches, they're painted, they're a little bit smoother than that. Sometimes if you're sitting on a park bench and it's at enough of an angle, everything on the bench can start sliding off. I've sat at a bench like that before, and it certainly was not the greatest experience in the world, just because my pack of cigarettes, my sunglasses, my water bottle kept wanting to fall off of the bench. It wasn't great, but even though this is at a little bit of an angle, and if it was smooth, I do think my water bottle would be falling off. I do think my pack might fall off. But because the wood is not treated, because it is rougher than not, there's splinters coming out of it and whatnot, my water bottle isn't falling off, and my pack of cigarettes isn't falling off. And honestly, I mean, like, this is not a bad spot to smoke a cigarette. I'm gonna be straight with y'all. Really not a bad spot to smoke a cigarette. Yeah. I can't complain. It's at a pretty good height. Nothing's falling off. I'm not getting any splinters in my butt, thankfully. If this was a super splinted pallet, I think I might not like it as much, but nah, I mean, like, solid condition pallet. Just kind of sitting here on the ground, not wet. A little bit rough, so everything. This is not bad. Now, do I think this would be a slightly better experience if there were, I'd have to say, maybe 1 or 2 more pallets? Yeah, absolutely. I do think this would be a better experience. I think, honestly, like, up until a point, the more pallets you have stacked, the better the experience. But I think it also depends on, like, how tall you are. Like, I'm like 6'1" kind of thing. So I think, like, the optimal amount of pallets for me to sit on would be, like, I would say, like, 3, 4, maybe even 5 pallets kind of thing. I think 4 to 5 pallets would probably be, like, the optimal amount for, like, my comfortability. But if you're like 5, 6 or something like that kind of thing, I think 2 to 3 pallets is going to be much more to your personal preference. Is a stack of pallets a solid spot to smoke a cigarette? Yeah, in my opinion, a stack of pallets is a solid spot to smoke a cigarette. And frankly put, I got no complaints on my behalf. And this is such a solid spot to smoke a cigarette, I think I'm not just gonna have 1 today, I'm gonna have 2 after I finish this one off, of course. I'm gonna go and stub this out on the ground though, just real quick. And with the second cigarette, I need to remember to grab myself a little bit of a thumbnail for the video, of course. But I'm just gonna put my cigarette butt on the ground, throw that away after the video, and I'm gonna get my pack opened up once again. And oh my goodness, I only have, and I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Ooh. My nose got really itchy for a second there, and then it like went away, and then it came back, and then it went away, and it's still gone right now, but I felt like I had to sneeze for a second there, I'll acknowledge. My goodness. But I'm gonna go and get my last cigarette out of the pack. There's a little bit of tobacco kind of left in there and whatnot. Put that on the ground and everything like that so it doesn't go all in my pockets if the pack opens up in my pocket. I'm gonna get the lighter I have with me today out of my pants pocket, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get back to smoking. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. Now, what I really think pallet manufacturers need to do is they need to start including like little divots in the side of pallets and whatnot, so you can put your cigarette in the divot and it doesn't roll away. I just realized actually, like, there are actually already divots in pallets. They're not like the perfect size for a cigarette, but like just taking a look, like divot right there, there's a divot right there, like right there, right there, right there, and like it's holding my cigarette. It's not rolling away. Now, I would be kind of worried to leave my cigarette there for any length of time, I'll acknowledge, because this is a wooden pallet, and while I don't think it would catch on fire just from a cigarette, you never know. You never know. You can never be too careful. Oh, and I'm just gonna go and grab myself a thumbnail real quick. Gotta do that, you know what I'm saying? What was I about to say, though? I can't remember. But yeah, honestly, now that I'm really thinking about it, I mean, like, pallets, they might not have cigarette-sized divots in them. But if you're sitting on a pallet and it's at an angle, or if you're just sitting on a pallet in general, you can put your cigarette in the divots on the pallet and it won't roll away. That's amazing. Maybe pallet manufacturers really were thinking about, like, making sure that pallets are a good spot to, like, smoke a cigarette or smoke a cigar or something like that kind of thing. And I'm, like, thinking about it. Like, if I was stacking pallets in a warehouse and I wanted to take a break and stuff like that, you know, just sitting on the stack of pallets I've been making, smoking a cigarette, and I want to put it down, I want to put my cigarette down, have a sip of my drink. I don't want my cigarette to roll away, but, you know, put it in the divot, take a sip of my drink, pick my cigarette back up. You know, I think pallet manufacturers, I really do think, actually, genuinely, in all honesty, that they probably considered whether people would want to smoke cigarettes while sitting on pallets. And they thought about that and they were like, you know what? We already wanted to save some wood by, like, not making the entire surface of the pallet flat just with wood. And so why don't we just make divots, not only to save wood, but to also make it where if you're smoking on a stack of pallets, you have a place to put your cigarette down on. That's a level of forethought that I hadn't considered previously, and I think pallet manufacturers absolutely know what they're doing. Wow. That's some big brain move from them, I'm not gonna lie. Big brain move from pallet manufacturers. Shout out, pallet manufacturers, for real. They know what's up. They know what's up. Now that I have smoked 1.5 cigarettes while sitting on a stack of pallets, though, can I say that, well, excuse me, smoking a cigarette while sitting on a stack of pallets is a solid thing to do? Yes. Can I say that smoking a cigarette on a stack of pallets is, what was I about to say? Can't remember. I bet I say something. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that a stack of pallets is a solid spot to smoke a cigarette. And I'm very glad that I did this for the first time today. I don't know how I've never smoked a cigarette while sitting on a pallet before. But doing this is a solid experience. This is an experience that I absolutely have again. And while I do think it would depend on the pallet, like if I, per se, sat on a pallet that was flat with wood all over it and everything like that, I do think that this would not be as good of an experience. If this was a pallet that was super dented and super, let's say, pokey, I was saying it earlier on. Like if it was putting wood shards in me, kind of thing, I don't think this would be as solid of an experience. And if it was wet, I don't think this would be as solid of an experience. But for this one-off experience that I'm having today, this is a solid experience. And I am not minding smoking a cigarette on a pallet by any means. Solid. Solid, I will acknowledge. Absolutely no complaints on my behalf. And I gotta admit, I have been enjoying my smokes. And I have been enjoying sitting on the pallets I'm sitting on currently. No complaints on my behalf. What would I rate this stack of pallets as a spot to sit down and have a smoke on? Well, this specific stack of pallets, I've got a beautiful view in front of me. It's at a little bit of an angle, but it's comfortable. I'm gonna have to give this stack of pallets, honestly, a very solid 4 out of 4. It's a very solid, like, this is genuinely a good bench alternative. I don't think every stack of pallets is gonna be as good of a spot, but, you know, I'm gonna have to say average of like a 3 out of 4 for like a stack of pallets just as a place to smoke a cigarette. Yeah, cannot complain. Can't not complain. I will acknowledge. Overall, solid spot to have a smoke. Glad I smoked a cigarette while sitting on a stack of pallets for the first time today. And I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I think I said just about everything I wanted to say. If you guys feel like I missed anything about this experience that y'all have experienced in the past while smoking a cigarette on a stack of pallets before, let me know. Let me know. I'm getting more just a little bit jumbled up. I'm a little bit buzzed, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. But let me know in the comments down below what those other items you think are worth mentioning are. And of course, also make sure to, well, like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my website all in the description down below. Go check it all out. Appreciate y'all watching. Till the next one, stay safe in peace and have a great one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?